Hey, good morning everybody, it's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so this is what we're talking about today. DeMar DeRozan basically hasn't given up on his idea to come to the Lakers. He's not letting this Russell Westbrook trade keep him from coming to the Lakers, I guess. He's expressed through, I guess, some channels that his interest in taking a pay cut and foregoing other opportunities to try to come to the Lakers and get a championship is something that he's still interested in doing. It's very much possible. From what I understand, there's like a $5 million mid-level exception that he could accept that would be cap friendly to us. It would be a huge, massive pay cut, obviously, for him, and kind of a risky thing for him as well if his value plummets here for whatever reason, which is likely because he would have such a limited role. That would kind of hurt his chances of getting maybe the best possible contract at the end of the season somewhere else. So we understand that he would be a rental if we were to bring him in. That's has to be understood right away. He's not going to be able to stay because we won't be able to afford him unless he just keeps taking pay cuts to stay here, which is possible. But, essentially he would be coming in to try to play the KCP role. And the issue would be he doesn't shoot. Now, I want him here because of all the sentimental reasons of why I wanted Russell Westbrook here. But this is still basketball, y'all. We have to remember that spacing is a very, very, very key component to what we have to have down there. And if you want to just throw a bunch of players on the floor and hope to God they win games, you better make sure those pieces at least on paper fit. And to be honest with you, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, those three players on paper do not fit. They do have so much talent that if they can get into the open court, they're blowing past people. Now, you notice I didn't mention Anthony Davis because he does fit. Anthony Davis fits with all of those players. Anthony Davis is the only hope of making that work. He would have to be monstrous Anthony Davis, and they would have to be willing to take basically no three-point shots. None. We would have to forego the three-point shot. We would be taking a lot of mid-range shots. We would be taking a lot of looks at the basket, driving at the basket, trying to get fouled as much as possible, trying to make the game murky as possible. That's the kind of play style I see working for this team, because what we don't have is any shooting and thus no spacing. We're going to have people clogging our paint so bad that Anthony Davis and whoever our center is going to be pushed around a lot. They're going to be taking a lot of punishment because the paint is going to be so clogged. So here's the thing, DeMar. I want you here. And before we got Russell Westbrook, I thought it was a damn good idea to bring you here. For the mid-level exception, I can't see us turning you away. But here's the problem. Your role is going to be just so very uncomfortable, because what we're going to have to do is sit you down in order for their starting lineup to make sense. And you're way too great of a player to even consider doing something like that too. Even at this stage where you're probably ready to chase a ring. I don't think this is the best fit for you, man. I don't. Even if you were to come here for free, it's just not going to, you're not going to be DeMar DeRozan in this lineup. You're going to be someone else. That's what we're going to have to ask you to do in order for us to win. And so that's just the heartbreaking truth of the situation. Now, does that keep me from bringing DeMar DeRozan in? Nah. If he wants to take on that role, that's on him. You feel me? But for me, to be completely honest with you, I would ask him to come off the bench. I would ask him to lead the second unit that would be full of shooters, and he would be the main facilitator of that second unit. And there would be parts of him that would play with LeBron James. He would come into that unit at times. Anthony Davis would come into that unit at times. Russell Westbrook will play in that unit at times. So it wouldn't be like he would never be on the floor with the stars. And he certainly wouldn't be lacking in minutes because he would be interchangeable. And if, of course, anybody goes down to injury, which we have a bunch of old players, he would obviously start. So you would see plenty of DeMar DeRozan if I were running the team. But in the starting lineup, whoever our main shooter would be, that shooting guard, he would be starting. And DeMar DeRozan would end up winning Sixth Man of the Year because I would make sure of it. That's his role. That's how it works. The problem is, it's DeMar DeRozan, man. He can go to Orlando right now and be an all-star. Easy. He hasn't fallen off. what he does, he still does great. He can give you 30 points on a very good night. He can give you 10 assists on a very good night. He can rebound the ball. You know, this is not somebody you want to necessarily ask to take a lesser role. You know, here's the truth. I think he should go to the Clips. I do. If he wants to come home and have a championship opportunity in a better role, go to the Clippers, bro. Because the Lakers don't have the role. They don't have the role. And the Clippers do. And you would be yet another swingman in a trio of swingmen when Kawhi Leonard may not even play this year. That's where you go. That way you get a chance to be home and you get a chance to play for a ring. They got Terrence Mann, they got Paul George, they got you, and possibly Kawhi Leonard coming in at some point in the season, possibly. That's a hell of a lineup. You're going to give everybody hell. Do I want him to go to the Clippers? God, no. God, no. But I'm thinking about it from his perspective. If you want to go to Los Angeles and play for a championship and actually still be who you are, that's a better place to go. Because what you're going to end up doing is running into the Kyle Kuzma situation where you can't be yourself and everybody's going to be looking at you like DeMar DeRozan fell off. No, he hasn't. The role ain't there. And most importantly, the coach ain't right for the role that we're asking you to play. There's no guarantee that Frank Vogel's going to even think of what I just said and put you in that role. He may just do it like he did with Trez, and you may not give him the floor at all. Because you got to understand, we're playing for a championship. So nobody's going to get sacked. Nobody is not. No one is above being sacrificed as it pertains to this lineup. Because it's about LeBron James, and it's about Anthony Davis, and that's that. And Westbrook going to find that out too. He come out there shooting 1 for 6, 1 for 5. You're going to see how fast he gets off the floor. He ain't used to that, but that's what's going to happen. Because the priority is always going to be LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So that's what I understand. Even if everybody else ain't really see it that way, that's what it's going to end up being, regardless. So at this point, I'm just looking at DeMar DeRozan. I'm saying, listen, you can play for a championship and you can be yourself. I just don't think you can do that in purple and gold this season. This season, I don't think so. With the acquisition of Russell Westbrook and the limited cap space that the Lakers have, every piece we bring in must have be the exact prototype to what it is that we need, which is likely shooting and size. Shooting and big, long players, power forward players, physical players who are agile if possible. And even more shooting after that. That's what we need. DeMar DeRozan's more so, at this stage in his career, mid-range specialist, facilitating, rebounding, combo small forward shooting guard. And while that is an awesome trait to have, if you're surrounded by a bunch of shooters, especially if your point guard can shoot, ours cannot. You see what I'm saying? Ours cannot. So he's going to be asked to be a spot-up shooter. That ain't DeMar DeRozan. That ain't who he is. Now, that is Buddy Hield. But the problem with Buddy Hield is Buddy Hield's going to cost a lot more than what we would be asking DeMar DeRozan to take on. So what that means, let's say we get DeMar DeRozan or someone equivalent who will take that mid-level exception, that $5 million, we can build with the money that we would have given to Buddy Hield in this trade. Basically the Dennis Schroeder money. That $80 million can get us like 3 players. Now, not 3 great players possibly, unless they're willing to take some massive pay cuts, but at least some bodies down here that can fit what it is we need. So that's kind of how I'm looking at that. I just got word, not sure if this is credible, not really a credible source, but from what I understand, and this makes sense, Alex Caruso will not be coming back to the Lakers. Not this year. We are losing our cult favorite player, one of our best on-ball defenders. He's going to go to greener pastures and find some more money. And that's right for him. With the way his reputation has ascended, with the type of hype that's been around him, coupled with him winning a championship, coupled with him having a pretty big role in doing so, it's time for him to try to go out there and get a multi-year deal with some real money on it. You know, at this stage in his career, he's still a young player. He still has a bigger role to play, and I think he can go out there and show us that with a bigger playing time situation, he can go out there and be even better than he was with us. So I wish Alex Caruso all the best, man. That's somebody who's been a great champion for us. We watched him grow, watched him come up in the G League. I know he was with the Thunder before us for just a second, but he wasn't really getting no shine out there. He became AC here, and man, we're gonna miss him big time. That dude, he's a true Laker, man. What can I say? That's a real Laker. So I'd love to see him come back to the Lakers someday, but right now, unfortunately, it looks like he's gonna be moving on, and for us right now, that's kind of what we need him to do, because you need the salary that you were going to pay him to help pay for other players that you most need. And while his defense is something that we definitely need, unfortunately, we're doubling down on the lack of shooting if we're bringing in him on top of Russell Westbrook. That doesn't work. Same situation with DeMar DeRozan. Now suddenly, you know what I mean? If Russell Westbrook was not here and AC leaves, you're asking DeMar DeRozan to come in and kind of play the combination KCP, Alex Caruso role. Well, you can't have DeMar DeRozan come in and play that role, or have AC play his role, because these are non-shooters. You know what I'm saying? So Russell Westbrook coupled with those guys, we're gonna be clanking threes all day. Now AC has improved behind the arc. Don't get it twisted. But again, it's not about the player in this situation. It's about the price tag, and he's gonna want the bag. That's that. So, yeah, gotta say goodbye to AC. It just is what it is, you know. The way, and I said this, the way the Lakers ended the last playoff series, I didn't think too many players from that team were gonna be coming back. I really didn't, man. I just felt like this is one of those circumstances where you look at everybody on the team and you say, I don't want none of y'all back, truly. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's not just that we went out in the first round, it's how. You know, we could not at all function without AD. And to have a team with that much talent, and you can't do nothing against a team that you expect it to beat just because a player goes down, albeit one of the best players, but still, we expect to put up a better fight. This was supposed to be one of the best, most deep teams in the league to start the season, and we didn't see any of that down the stretch. We didn't see that in the playoffs. So this is the Lakers. That kind of thing is embarrassing. We don't have a whole lot of time with LeBron James' contract being as it is, and Anthony Davis's injury issues as they are, and the concerns that come with that. We don't want to take any time off. We don't want to play around. You got to build around AD and Bron every year. And we had an entirely different approach this year. So this is what we're doing. And, you know, so far so good as it pertains to the interest that we're getting from other free agents now, the players that we're picking up, you know, post-draft. All of what we've done so far has been good. All I would say is make sure you understand how to build around Russell Westbrook and these two other superhuman players, because if you don't build it right, we'll be exiting the first round again. And I know nobody would expect that, but I'm telling you, if spacing is off, we see it with all kinds of players. I don't care if you got Zion and B.I. or LeBron and A.D. and Westbrook. It doesn't matter. If your spacing is trash, other teams will exploit that, and those young bodies will outlast yours because we're older. So that's the important thing to remember. I don't care how talented you are. Old is old, and we will need some youth down there, and we're losing a lot of youth in this process. So we would be wise to keep that in mind as well. But anyway, yeah, my name is BDF44. I'm going to go ahead and eat some breakfast and get out of here and handle some business. But I thank you all for watching, and I'm out.